Welcome to Spiritual Aliveness with Joni. This podcast is designed to bring people to you that live life on a level of aliveness, that their lives and their stories and the way they became that and what they overcame is something that I hope brings inspiration to you. Today, my guest is Ciamara Morales. She's an international recording artist, songwriter, community activist, wife, and mother. And I don't want to get this wrong, so I'm reading it. She now lives in Los Angeles, California, but was born and raised in the Philippines. Her story of how she overcame adversity and struggle to create a beautiful and abundant life, as well as her activism and caring in the community, is inspiring. And I just had to share her story with you. She is an inspiration, and she lives a heart-centered life, shares her voice, her life lessons, and her inspirations with you. Welcome, Ciamara. I'm really excited to get to know you better, and you and I have met on your wedding day, so I'm really, really happy to share you with people because you are an inspiration. And I want you to share your story and what happened, what you had to overcome and how you did it. So talk to me.
Hello, Joni. So good to see you again. It's definitely a pleasure to be part of your podcast. And hello, everyone. Good to see you.
Yay. Well, tell me about the Philippines. You lived there until you were 14, I think?
Yes, well, I grew up, I was born in Manila. That's the city in the Philippines, but I was raised in Dumaguete with my grandparents. So my parents were separated when I was little, and I didn't really meet them until I was 14 years old.
Wow. What was life like where you lived?
My grandparents have 15 kids, so that's right. Didn't know about, family planning, I guess, before. Yes, but yeah, so they have 15 kids. So I grew up with a lot of cousins. So looking back, and I didn't really think about, okay, where are my parents? And although I grew up with my cousins, having parents, and it didn't matter much to me until I was going to school, and my classmates were asking, okay, where's your mom, where's your dad? Because every events, their parents are there. And so that's when I started asking about my parents, and my grandparents would tell me, well, they're separated, and my mom was in the rehab. She had a nervous breakdown and never recovered. And my father has his own family going on in Manila. So that's when I've started to just ask questions about what had happened. I heard stories about my mom, being the fact that she had a nervous breakdown. She became violent, and so they have to put her in the rehab and just keep them there.
So what were you thinking? I mean, how did that affect you as a little girl?
Growing up, it was okay when I was still from maybe a baby until I was in elementary school. But when I was going to high school, that's when I get teased by my classmates, and I heard stories about my mom was being violent and was hurting people that time. Because I think when the policy in the Philippines, when you go to rehab and you get a little bit better, they will try to let you out and socialize to other people. And when she have her attacked, she will throw stones to people, and she just do some crazy stuff. And when I hear my classmates telling that story, and they will tell me yeah, she's a daughter of a crazy woman. So they will make fun of me, and I usually just isolate myself and hide somewhere where I remember going to school, and during the lunchtime I will go to the river by myself, just be away from them, because I know they will, at the back they will start talking about, me and making fun of me.
So bullying is actually a huge topic in today's society, particularly with social media and that kind of thing. And I know you have a child as well. So what would you say to young people who are being bullied? Well, how would you help them have a voice? What would you say?
I think that it's really hard. You have to really convince yourself that you could stand up, and because that was my struggle growing up. I really had to. I think it started with me singing at the church, and that's when I start gaining my confidence. And so I start doing that, and I start joining like program at school. And when I did that, that's when I start telling people like it's not cool to bully other kids. It's not helping me. It's not helping my confidence. It's not help. It was a total shut off for me because I wasn't motivated to do anything positive. But just advice for other people that. On that situation, just you really have to just try to find that the focus in your mind that there is always going to be, everything will be okay, and you have to think positive that in whatever it is that's happening that surrounds you, you just have to like find a positive side. Where I was thinking before, I know this is just temporary. Everything will be okay. I still believe that. It's not about just, as you said earlier, it's not about being religious, but I just believe in myself that there is someone always watching me and guiding me through whatever I was going through.
Right.
Yes.
I love it. So have faith.
Absolutely.
Find something that you love that can help build your self-confidence.
Yes.
And I love the other thing you said. Basically, you said this too shall pass.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful.
And I always I'm always thinking about, this is just happening today. I know tomorrow will be better. And it's always like that. Like whatever it is, whatever hardship that I had to go through, I always, I wasn't looking about the past. I wasn't looking. I don't think about how my father left me, or how my mother is mentally ill, or how my grandparents because it was a very challenging how they raised us as well. But I just always look forward on, okay, what am I gonna do to survive and be able to be an inspiration to someone else.
Right. Right. And sometimes it's in hindsight that we realize that we are inspiring. We're in the minute, you're not.
Yes, you don't realize it, but because of you have, like for me, I have so much love to give because I didn't get that from anybody from growing up. So I always think about, like now I have my son and I have my family, but I always think about whatever it is that I didn't feel and I didn't get from my parents, from my grandparents, that's what I have to give. Because it feels good. And I know when people come to me and say, like, you're really good and trying to make other people feel better. And I feel like it's amazing because sometimes I can't even make myself feel better. Right. But just to see that, it's a positive thing for me, to be able to, I think my sadness and my anger, I always just turn it around and say, okay, if I feel sad, then I have to face and show it to the world that I'm happy. Mm-hmm. So I just have to turn it around.
It's interesting because I know a lot of what you do is of being of service.
Yes.
And that across the board in every religion and in the yoga community, in 12-step communities, all across the board.
Right.
That's where happiness is found, is being of service. So we're kind of skipping ahead a little bit, but talk to me about that because I know you I think it's the Filipino community that you do a lot of volunteer work and whatnot. I'd love to hear about that.
Right. Well, I have been singing since I was young, and as I said, I started singing at the church, and then I joined contests, and I think that was my that was my escape from what I was going through, and I was enjoying that, and I was able to make money and help my grandparents and help my siblings go to school, and that I think that was just the most important to me. It was just, I feel like my mission is really to try to help out, because I feel like I've been thrown away and didn't really have that support. I just felt like being able to help was the things that was making me strong, and I feel like it was a validation of me just being in this world.
Wonderful. So let's talk about the singing. And by the way, to our listeners and our viewers, it's a rainy day, so if you can hear that, I think I'm actually getting rained on as we speak in the studio here. So just disregard that. It's so soothing, actually. So just hear it as a meditation in the background. So I would love to talk to you about your singing. Your voice is absolutely angelic, number one. Yeah. Number two, I know that there's a song in particular, Muling Binuhay Mo.
Muling Binuhay Mo.
Thank you. I tried to get it right. And it's 14 million views. And tell me about that song and what you think resonates with people so much.
Muling Binuhay Mo means you made me live again. So the story is all about someone that been in a relationship, got hurt, and finally found at last finding that person that she loved, and ready to face another family again, and just whatever challenges it is. And I think the main reason why it resonates to the viewers and to the listeners, because we all have our experience when it comes to having that someone and being able to share our love with them. But then at the end, some relationship don't work, some does. And I think if you look at the music video on this song, it's actually a reflections of my personal life. It was actually half of it is part of my wedding, was part of it. So it was a story of me where I had my past relationship, it didn't work out. I was being, it was an abusive relationship, and then I found someone, and I'm willing to love again, and to start a family again.
That's amazing. So there are two things that came out of what you just said that
Yes.
I really want to address. Specifically, the abusive relationship.
Right.
Because I think that could help people. How did somebody who is as confident and beautiful and talented and as amazing as you end up in an abusive relationship, and then how did you get out?
You wouldn't really know. I think when you meet someone, you think everything is perfect at the beginning. You just give yourself, and the fact that we have a child together, it's more harder to actually get out. But on that particular time, all you care is just trying to be the best mom, the best wife, and that's what we are, But it was bad, because no matter what you do, it was maybe because I didn't take the time to get to know the person better. Maybe I didn't take the time to really realize that he wasn't after the love. It was just something else, that maybe it was just a physical attraction. Yeah. But getting out of it, I had to think about what is better for my son. It wasn't even about me anymore. It was a very toxic relationship where there was fights, there was physical, and my son was seeing that, and I don't want him to see that anymore.
Right.
Yeah, so I had to move out.
Did you? First of all, it takes a lot of courage.
Yes.
And I applaud you, and I work with people and coaching and that kind of thing. And sometimes they think that if they could just love them well enough, if they could just love them differently, that there's something, the abused person is thinking this. If I didn't do this, if I didn't trigger him, I didn't, and it's not them. It's literally this person has no right to abuse you on any level.
Yeah.
Did you feel that way as well?
At that time, because I grew up with a broken family. So in my head, I'm always thinking like I have to do everything I can to keep this family together, because all I wanted is like, I didn't want to grow up with having a family and then I have a son and then he has to go through what I was going through, So it was just simply like, I don't care if I have to crawl, if I have to like it was just a main focus of I will do whatever it takes. It doesn't matter what I have to go through, because you want this is what I want. But at the end, it's just that at the end, relationship takes two.
Wow.
And I cannot work it out on my own.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that you found the way and found the courage, and for the listeners out there, find what you need, to make that happen. I want to go back to the song, and you had mentioned the new video.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen it on YouTube, go to YouTube, and it's Ciamara Morales with a bunch of A's, and I'll put it in the show notes. And it's a beautiful video. And so tell me about the making of that, because I know this is a very recent thing.
Yes.
And then also, I want to know if you're going to do a version in English.
Well, this song actually, originally I released this song way back 2000 in the Philippines. This was part of my album, and this is the song that made it to top 1 in the Philippines for a few months. And it's been so long that we have to re-record the song, make a new version, simply because I want to reconnect with my followers back in the Philippines. And so we do the music, we shoot the music video, and when we were putting together the storyline of the music video, it was just easy, because in my head I was already thinking about since I want to reconnect to my fans before, I want to reconnect with them through my personal story, and because a lot of them knows what I was going through before and what I had to experience. And now it was just a story of, again, being in a bad relationship and finding a new love, a new life, and a new inspiration.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So how did you find this new love, and tell me that story.
We met about 15 years ago, but he was doing his own thing, I was doing my own thing, and I just knew it will never work out, And I feel that it would be so unfair for him as well, because I was broken still. I just got divorced from my past relationship, so I know I won't be able to be the best person. And I think that's what we have to realize, that when you just in a bad relationship, don't just jump into the new one, because not only that it will be unfair to your partner, you'll be being unfair to yourself as well, because you're just broken.
Right. The healing has to happen first.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. What did you do, by the way, to heal?
I have to focus on my son. If I don't have to stay focused on what I need to do, it's a different country. I don't have family here in the States. You just really have to do what you have to do. Being a single mom and trying your best to give whatever is out there for your child. It's very challenging. But as a mother, you will always, you don't think about what will happen next. You just think about what's today, and for me, all I care about was me and him being together.
How did you go from 15 siblings in the Philippines to, didn't you own a restaurant?
I did.
How did that happen, and what was that like?
When I got divorced, I started to, starting singing in a band. And then this one owner of the restaurant was inviting me to be a regular singer for 3 nights for a week. So that's when I started to start singing again, and a year later she approached me if I want to join the business, and that's how I end up being a co-owner of the restaurant.
Wow. Now, one of the features was karaoke.
Yes.
Isn't that really big in the Philippines?
It's huge.
Huge, okay.
Literally in every corner in the Philippines you have a karaoke place.
Wow.
I think that's it's like a traditional thing for us, where it's one way of releasing our stress for a busy week, or and I think that's why a lot of Filipinos, wherever they are, it's like the microphone is just one of our so yeah, absolutely. So in every gathering there's always going to be a karaoke in the house.
That's so great. I think karaoke is probably very therapeutic. Unless you sound like me, you don't want to.
No, but for us, we don't treat karaoke like that. We just sing. We don't really care. Like a lot of people think like I can't sing, or if there's a karaoke, there's care because they get people will judge them. But we don't look at karaoke like that. We just do it for fun. We don't really think of we don't think who sings better.
This is a great microcosm for life. Okay, so what you're saying is, you're karaoke. You're in the moment,
right,
in the now, having a great time. Whatever the experience is the experience.
Just go for it.
Yeah. How about living life like that?
Nobody cares. Literally nobody. And that's what I love. That's why I was in that business for 10 years, and I'd been doing that karaoke for 10 years, and it wasn't about people don't sing well or out of tune. It was more about, because when you hold the mic, whatever you feel, whatever the song that you choose resonates you, and you just feel it. Sometimes you cry on the stage, sometimes you laugh, sometimes you dance, and it just really depends. It's just a moment of you just being there and just a free spirit thing.
Okay, I'm going to commit to you that one night I'm going to do karaoke with you. We don't have to we don't have to sing the same song, but
I swear I'll do it.
No, but it's just really literally every time I go on the stage and invite people to sing, I always tell them, just be yourself. I don't really care. We don't care. Nobody will judge you here.
Yeah. See, this is what your magic is. Your magic is, getting people to be present and sharing their souls, and that's what you do so easily.
Yes.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, now, are you writing new music? You have a new album coming out. Tell me what's going on now.
We are working on new materials right now, so I'm going to be recording new songs in the next few weeks. So I'm excited to do that, definitely. But for now, we're just focusing on this Muling Binuhay Mo song, and of course they can download the song on all music sites. It's only 99 cents, so you guys can actually listen to it and enjoy the music video and support the song. And more songs coming up, definitely. We're planning to put together an album soon. So,
well, I want the English-speaking audience, to be. By the way, we have listeners in the Philippines, which I'm very proud of. But English-speaking audience to really hear your voice, to really. It's such magic, and they don't know you, and I think you won the Asian Excellence Award or something.
Yes.
Yeah, what is that?
It was a contest of different Asian countries, from China, from Japan to Hong Kong. So it was just a contest of the songs and the artist itself, and luckily I won the Philippine country for that.
That's amazing. You won something else too. The Miss Philippine. What is it?
Miss Filipino Town.
Yeah.
No, it was because I've been serving the Filipino community here in the States, and it wasn't even a contest. It was I was selected as the Miss Historic Filipino Town. The community did the decision. It wasn't like, well, we have to, compete each other. Yeah, I was just chosen because I was so active. I was doing a lot of events, and I was doing because Philippines always have typhoons, and we do like fundraising. I do produce fundraising events and just different. Just being active in the community.
Right. What an honor. That's almost even better. So we know you have a child.
Yes.
And how old is he now?
He's 11.
11. Okay, so let's put your mom hat on. What do you say to moms that have younger children that are coming up on 11? Any advice?
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, just simply because they're on that point where they're trying to create their own world, and it takes a lot of love. It takes a lot of patience to be a mom, and right now I'm trying to, because there is a lot of things that can distract him right now. Like you got your video games, you got stuff in school, and it's when it comes to being a parent, you really have to be, it's not strict, but you have to be firm that there are certain rules, not only in the house, but just certain rules in life that they really have to follow.
Yes, yeah. It makes them feel safer when they...
Absolutely, and I think that's your job, to make them feel safe, to make them feel secure, for them to know that when they're home, they have someone who they can count on anytime. Doesn't matter what the situation is.
I read somewhere that everything, who they are, to the core of their being, everything they learn up to the age of 10 is who they're going to be. They're just going to be older and have more available to them and that kind of thing. And I've met him. He's a beautiful soul. You've done a really amazing job. So is he a singer?
I think he's more a dancer than a singer. Yes, he is. I think he's just being forced to sing. Yeah, but if we always ask him like, what do you want? And he always either a rapper or a singer. That's his comfort zone right now. Yeah, but we're definitely trying to make him do something else. Like, I know my husband is trying to inspire him to play soccer, which is good for him, and he loves it. Yeah.
Yeah, team sports are really,
Yes.
really powerful. So when I had children, when they were 11, was right around the time that Facebook was coming out. Like all the social media was coming out. They didn't have smartphones. They didn't have any of that stuff, and I was clueless. So how do you keep your kids safe? Does he have any of that yet?
He got everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to avoid it. And we are in the situation where, as I said, he, on the weekend, his dad is picking him up, and then on weekdays he's with me. So the difference between having two parents is like on our situation, my situation, he is free to do whatever he wants to do in the other side. But with us, we try to limit him to do things that he's not learning anything, and we're just trying to give him a solid foundation where this is the reality, and this is what you have to learn in life, that there's just rules, there's certain rules that you have to follow. But going back to like keeping him safe, he knows it. He knows that he's safe with us. He just too much distractions going on right now from the internet, and I think as a parent, it's your job to really police your kid. At this point, he's 11. He wants to know everything. He asks questions, every day, and I think it's our job to really try to answer it, and not just answer it, but be honest and not sugarcoat the stories.
Yeah, so you're prepared for the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I always said that it's our job to feed them, love them, and prepare them to take flight.
Absolutely. Yeah, and just support them. And I think, if we have our choice, we'd be like, okay, you have to be a singer because I'm a singer, and you know, but it's their choice to do whatever they want to do in life. You know, we can't really force them to do something you don't want.
Well, you went to college. Where did you go?
I went to Suleiman University. That's one of the biggest school in Dumaguete where I grew up. Although I didn't finish it because those are the times where I was working and I was trying to help my brother as well to go to school. So I juggled that for a couple of years, but then I had to move back to Manila. So I got vocational, you know, instead of going to school full time, I did like vocational educations instead.
Great. What did you learn? See, for me, when I went to college, I got a completely useless degree. Useless. But I learned, it was more about being with different people from different socioeconomic backgrounds. I came from a single mom, and I mean, I dumpster dived for food, okay? We came from nothing. So then I was in this environment with these very wealthy people and these very well-educated people and these activist people and all kinds, and it really informed who I became as an adult. So, you know, whether or not you get a degree, I think that there's value in going to school. Yeah.
I think if I had a chance, I would definitely, because now that we are older, we understand how important education is. But then you know, on that particular time when I was grow up, I just never really had I didn't had a chance. And it's amazing because my grandparents had rules, and considering they have 15 kids, so all their kids, they only go to school till grade 6, till elementary, because his rules is, if you know how to read and you know how you know how to read and you know how to count, that's it. That's all you need in life. And that's how I grew up. You know, that's has always been in my head. So I was thinking, but I was trying to push on going to high school and going to college simply because I think I was just thinking I wasn't thinking about because it was good for me and I will need it in the future. It was just an escape for me because it was a really tough childhood. It was, my grandparents had a different ways of disciplining us. It was more on physical and not, you know, verbal thing. So it was an escape for me to be away from them somehow. So yeah, so I wasn't thinking about how important education back then because I was young, but I was using that to just be away from them.
Well, it's interesting because I think you said something really valuable when you were talking about your child, right. Is that it's what does he want? Like, what does he want to become? What is, you were saying, you know, it's his life, it's his journey. Right. I mean, I'm extrapolating right now. I'm kind of putting it all together, but because education anymore isn't necessarily an immediate ticket to somewhere.
Right.
Especially if you're an artist. You know, you can go to art schools or what have you. But I have one child who didn't go to college. She's doing really great.
Right.
You know, it really is about finding, and you did this, finding your passion.
Yes, definitely. But I think it's now that I realize how important education is right now, it's because it doesn't matter what your passion is. It's still great to go out there and you have the option to, you know, find a job that you like. You know, I mean, passion is great, but then sometimes you have to be able to support your passion, you know. Exactly. So you have to be practical as well. If you have a great education, you will be able to, you know, find a better job. You know, you have options, because if you don't have education, like, you know, sometimes you think about, am I just gonna stuck being in a 10-hour salary, you know, an hour, yes. Then trying to get a better job that hopefully you will like, so you can, in the future, you can go back to your passion. Right.
Yeah. I waited tables for about 5 years, and I don't know if I've ever said this on the podcast before, but I was not a good waitress. At first I started off, I was really excited because I was making money.
Right.
And then I was like, you should be waiting on me. So the ego, jumped in. So I had a lot to learn, in other words.
No, and that's life. That's life is all about. I think growing up and up to today, I wouldn't say I'm expert in anything because I'm still learning to be a better person. I'm learning to be a better wife. I'm learning to be a better mother, and that's our job. It's not really not a closed-minded, to be open about everything, to listen about what people say, but you just have to choose what do you want to implement to yourself.
I love that. So be open.
Absolutely.
To new information, to new ways of being. Wouldn't it be a different world if everybody was open?
Do that. Right, and not judge what
And not
you hear,
judge.
what they see, and then I think that's what the biggest problem in the world right now, because it's so easy for them to judge what they see and what it's just because it's everything is going on. You can see it all over the world. I mean, you can see it because of the internet, and for them to just judge in a simple, I don't know, even if it's just a simple video, you judge a person from that.
Yeah.
I want to go back to bullying.
Exactly. Yeah.
Especially if you're, a high-profile person, which,
Right.
you are. You're going to. There are people out there who decide that their opinion matters.
Well, I guess that's the exciting part of life, because there's no excitement anyway if there's nothing like
No controversy.
no controversy. Exactly. Right.
See, I love your attitude. It's just life, man.
Right. That's right. But it's like us, this is us in front of the camera, but inside the house we're a completely different person, because we are ourselves. And I think that's what people needs to understand, that you just have, it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what you do, you just have to show the real you.
I love that. Be your authentic self.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, that's one of the reasons I love you. You really are very authentic. And it's, again, I met you on your wedding day.
Yes.
Which...
Well, actually, we met each other on the rehearsal.
The rehearsal, yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah, and you had it all going on. You're like directing here and going over there, and because you really do have to know what you're doing on your wedding.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and that's like a small example of how you live your life. You are kind and you're loving, but you're organized and you know what you want and you go for it. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you. I think it's about having control. Well, you can't have control with everything, but at least, having a control of, you have to start on yourself, being focused and having a mission of what do you want to accomplish. It doesn't, it can be just today. What do you want to have done today, and not worry too much about what will happen tomorrow, because it's not going to help.
So have a mission, have a focus,
Yes.
Be disciplined, because that's what you are also, right? And then have fun.
That's right. And just be contented.
Be contented.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's important when we expect too much from yourself. I mean, it's always great to have a vision, to have a plan, but when you expect too much, you fall harder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I have a quality that is both my superpower and my kryptonite. Perfectionism.
I think we all do. I think we all.
Not all of us do.
We all have that. Yeah.
So some parts. Yeah. So how do you? Okay. So if you have that as well, how do you make that work for you and not get in the way?
Everything that we do, I mean, everything that I do, I think the main focus is you do it the best way you can. And now, if some other people don't think it is the best of you, you don't really have to worry about that. It's what you think you could do right now, and you look back and say, okay, if it wasn't the best. I mean, because there are things that you think is the best, but then you go back. It's like simple as filming. Sometimes like this is the best thing that I could do for now, and then you go back and review yourself. It's like I could do better than that.
I'm killing it right.
Exactly. There you go. But yeah, I think the most important, just whatever you do, you just do your best and stay at that moment, and it will just show.
That goes back to karaoke, right?
And
do your
everything
best,
else.
be in the moment.
That's right.
Have fun.
That's right.
And it's all good.
Yeah, it's like the beginning of this interview. I was nervous because I think putting out my personal life out there, it wasn't part of me, not my personality. But at the back of my head, I was thinking, you're right. Hopefully, someone out there will listen to it and will see it and maybe get inspired and think that it is the reality of life. Sometimes you have to go through a lot of things to make you the person you are now.
Mm-hmm. And that you can overcome. And I've said this before. I think people who have come through the fire are more interesting, honestly. They're richer, they're more layered. I had a thought as you were talking that I wanted to say, and now it's gone, but when it comes back, I'll let you know.
There you go.
So is there anything that you would like to share with your viewers, past and present and future?
Let's start about the past. Past, as I said, it wasn't the happiest past, but the present right now is what I've learned is you cannot dwell on the past. You just really have to appreciate what that you were able to overcome the past, and it made you, like on my case, it made me stronger. It made me become a better person. It made me become, not just a mom. I'm still trying to be, be the best mom that I can to my son, and to be the best wife to my husband. But I think you just really have to realize that life is all about sharing whatever it is that you have experienced, and just think positive, really, because there's a lot of experiences in life that will throw you off.
Right.
But at the end of the day, what is more important to you? And I think I'm grateful to have my family right now who actually are supporting whatever I am doing, because that's completely different from my past. I have to strive and to learn how to live my life on my own, and I'm just glad that didn't make me as an angry person. I'm just glad that I become today as a loving and a giving and understanding person. And looking to the future, I just want to share more, whatever it is that I could share, on my own little ways, and just try to, I think, be relevant to everyone. And
well, you're kind of your story is kind of like a Disney movie, like a Cinderella kind of thing, or so rags to riches and rich in soul, rich in relationship, rich in life.
Right.
And I'm excited for you because as I'm listening to you and as I'm watching you and I'm being with you, I realize you've lived an entire lifetime already. And it's already had a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yes.
And now this whole new thing is starting. And I'm really excited for you to see where you go and what you do with this. And I get to be at the launching part, sort of. And I want to thank you for being, a part of this and sharing your heart. And I too am a little bit of an introvert, which is strange that we're both doing what we're doing.
Right.
But it's not for me to get out there and go, hey. So the fact that I'm on camera right now is a little weird. So.
It's a process.
Yes, it's a process. You can teach me more about that, and we can do the interview. So I ask every guest, how do you recommend that the listener or the viewer live their most alive spiritual life? Spiritual aliveness.
I think when you have a focus in your mind and you know your priority, and I think it's just I've always practiced this every day. Every time I wake up, every time I go to bed, is be grateful. And every time I wake up in the morning, it's go back to be grateful. And I think if you have practiced that daily, everything would just I mean, you don't have any control of what will happen in today, even just today, and especially tomorrow. But I think it's important that you live your life on what's going on today. You appreciate what you have, and try to just let go of the things that you don't have any control on.
Love it.
And just try to just focus on your priorities, the things that you love, and we're not talking about material things, because you're right. I've lived where I had to go to sleep hungry, and I've lived my life where I've had everything I could ask for, and now my focus is I don't have perfect life, but I'm at peace. I know what I want, and I'm being loved, and my focus is just to give more love to whoever that surrounds me.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So live in gratitude, live in peace.
Yes.
Live in service. I love it. Well, thank you for sharing your heart and your life and your story and your journey. And I just wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Joni.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.